Good morning. I've got me a case of cellulitis. A hornet came along yesterday and stung me on the arm, and my entire lower arm is swollen up, and it's very painful. So I gave it some mineral flake, Dead Sea salt soakings, and then I wrapped it in a baking soda poultice, and it seems to have slowed it down. It didn't grow overnight, so hopefully it helps to keep it from continuing on up my arm. I was thinking, I just had these topics swirling around above my head or in my head about how we as Christians would say, Jesus is the peace that passes all understanding. I don't know about you, but when I was depending on Jesus for my peace, I never truly experienced peace that passes all understanding. I would experience it in brief occasions until something really scary happened, right? Then that peace would just go out the window. Peace only holds up dependent on the circumstances. I find that I have a lot more peace now, since basically unemploying Jesus and choosing to stand on my own 2 feet. Of course, not on my human 2 feet, but on my higher self, or the Christ. Right? The Christ is not Jesus, or let's say the Christ is not Jesus alone. The Christ is the consciousness that resides with your higher soul. And I accessed that when I had my Kundalini experience and my crown chakra opened, which connected me to my soul chakra, or my higher soul. And since that happened, I have gained a whole new level of consciousness, and I guess one could say I look at the situations in this world from above, from the heavenly view, from that higher consciousness. And that is what gives me the peace that passes all understanding. It wasn't my reliance on Jesus, quite frankly. Often I'd be in situations where mentally my mind would perceive me so separated from Jesus, and I was so afraid, he doesn't always show up on time. Sometimes he doesn't show up at all. So these are psychological gaps that happen in our brain, in our mind. And that made me recognize that everything is actually a show going on in our mind. Mental, psychologically, and emotionally. Those 3 aspects They play out the entire life story. They create the entire life story. They create our fears. They create our peace. All dependent on what we imagine in our psyche. For the longest time, I imagined that Jesus would be my peace. And that imagination, like I said, was not consistent. He disappeared from my mental space. And when I needed him, he wasn't there. So that wasn't something that I could rely on. You know, I needed him to be always with me. But like I said, there were instances where I thought, well, where are you? Jesus, where are you when I need you, right? And you just can't rely on that. And that is when things began to crumble and break down in me, and I lost my faith in Jesus. I lost my faith in the reliance of Jesus. But like I said, after I had the Kundalini awakening, I connected to my higher self. And that higher self, that consciousness, never leaves me nor forsakes me. That consciousness is always with me. That consciousness gives me the higher perspective through which I can maintain this peace that passes all understanding. And Jesus is nowhere in the picture. How do you figure that? Huh? Yeah. It's our beautiful mental space, our beautiful psychological space can create all of that. So, you are it. If you seek the peace that passes all understanding, you need to connect with your soul chakra, your higher self. And that never leaves you because that is you. It can't leave you because that is you. You have connected your consciousness and your identity of yourself to that soul self, and that merged, and you have become that, and you have this assured awareness that you are a higher soul being, a brilliant being, a powerful being of light. That is where the peace comes from that knowing, that gnosis, right? So, I hope that helps someone today. I think that's all I had to say. You have a fantastic day. It's a beautiful September 4th, beautiful fall weather, and I have to do some harvesting today.